Hello, everybody. So it's getting late. I'm sorry for the late text. My voice is a little raspy too. I'm not feeling that great, but I've been gone all day. So I just walked in the door and literally came downstairs to do day 6 of 12 days of testifying to God's goodness and to His miracle working power. Um, if you haven't seen the videos, go back and watch videos 1 through 5. The Lord has led me to share from December the 13th to December the 25th on miracles and just testimonies of His goodness in my life personally. I'm sorry, my voice is, my throat is sore, but I'm going to testify anyway. So for testimony number 6, I shared with you all on testimony number 4 about my daughter. I had mentioned in testimony number 3 how my husband and I buried 2 baby boys a year apart, and how we have focused on the promise that He had given us both, which is of a little girl. And I then later gave a testimony of how He gave us that girl, but it was much perseverance, a lot of faith, a lot of heartache and pain in between the time before the promise was fulfilled. But He fulfilled the promise through our daughter, who's actually behind me on the wall. But what I wanted to share was I had shared about having her, and then I gave a testimony health-wise about me. But this testimony is in regards to her. After I lost my first and second sons, I shared that I miscarried a third child. And then when we went to Atlanta and was prayed over, and then I was pregnant with her a month later, when we went to start getting testing and just the normal testing that they always do, and ultrasounds and things like that, real early they noticed, probably around maybe a couple of months, they had noticed that there was low fluid, like in the kidney area for her. And so it posed a danger to her, how she would form, and her health, and if the pregnancy would be a healthy pregnancy, if she would be a healthy fetus, eventually would be a healthy baby. And so they had a genetic counselor contact me, and I'm laughing because I had buried 2 sons and I had miscarried a third, and I knew without a shadow of a doubt that this baby was the promise. I was like, this has to be the child. This has to be the promise. And they told us that a genetic counselor would be calling us and explaining some things to us. So when I got the phone call from the genetic counselor, she started off by, being real kind, and she was like, well, I wanted to call because there's some things that they noticed, and I know they explained it to you at the doctor, and it's my job to share with you options that you may have. And basically, she was calling to tell me that I had an option of aborting the pregnancy. And I was like, am I hearing this right? So I stopped her in the conversation, and I said, excuse me, I know you have a job to do, and I know that this is protocol. I said, but I'm going to stop you right now. I said, first of all, I've buried 2 children. Buried 2. I said, I've miscarried a third, and you're calling me to tell me I have an option of aborting this child because there may seem to be something wrong. I said, there's nothing wrong with her. This is my promise. God promised me this child. And I said, you may not understand it. I said, but you don't need to continue your conversation with me. I said, I'm not being disrespectful. I said, I hope you understand. I said, but this is a sensitive subject for my husband and I. I said, and aborting this child is not an option. And so she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And, and I told her, I said, and you probably should have read my history before you called me in the manner that you did, because she was very insensitive when she called. And I understand people have protocol and things they have to follow. But as physicians and nurses and doctors, you don't want to get so caught up in your routine of a job that you lose your respect and bedside manner, especially with people who've gone through things that we've gone through. You have to have some sensitivity and compassion. And anyway, so she contacted me, and then they told me I would have to come back in and get some more testing done. They would have to do another biophysical profile and things to check her. So I prayed, my husband prayed, we prayed with our prayer team, our intercessory prayer team. And when I went back for further testing, they didn't see anything. Everything that they saw that they thought was wrong, to call me to tell me I had an option to abort this pregnancy, my promise, God's promise to me. They're calling to tell me I had that option. There was nothing. What they had seen before was no longer. Was I surprised? No, I was not. And so I just wanted to share with you how God just continuously does the miraculous, because I've shared with you the many miracles that he had performed in my life. And sometimes, when God gives us a promise, it doesn't always come in the timing that we expect. It doesn't always come in the form that we may expect it to come in. But even when it's right there, the enemy will sometimes try and still, tempt you or deter you away or make you doubt or make you question what God has said. And I felt like at that moment, that was a time for us to maybe question, is this the promise? And what if we had not had the faith that we had, or had the trust in the Lord, and to know that we were going to hold fast to his promise? I could have followed their instructions and aborted my promise. And so don't let Satan cause you to abort what God has put into you. Hold fast to his word and trust the Lord. So the miracle in that was that, I saw it. I saw it on ultrasound. I saw it on the biophysical profile, what they were saying. They were showing it to my husband and I. But I also saw when we went back that what they had shown us was no longer, and her kidneys was fine. All the fluid and everything that they were saying that seemed to be low was no longer that way. So, of course, we went on with the pregnancy, and our promise was here, and our promise was born. But we were presented with an opportunity that could have maybe kept her from coming. So I just want to tell you, don't let the enemy stop you. Don't let the enemy cause you to doubt God. Trust God and keep him at his word. I had to keep this one a little short, and I struggled a little because my throat was sore. And I think I may be catching something, but I'm going to declare my healing now, because by his stripes I am healed, and I'm not going to accept that. So God bless you all, and just stay encouraged. And I'm going to continue on with more testimonies of God's goodness. We have 6 more days to go. Be blessed.